Trump is tanking the market. People's 401ks are plunging, and the economy is a literal dumpster fire. And now Adam Schiff just opened an investigation into insider trading because certain people made a lot of money on the exact timing of Trump's tariffs. Hold on. How is that possible? I thought Trump drained the swamp. Remember, in 2006, Trump said this.
I sort of hope that happens because then people like me would go in and buy. If there is a bubble burst, as they call it, you can make a lot of money. When
people like us lose, people like him win. And that's what these tariffs are all about. And if you're anything like me, you are tired of hearing about tariffs. But I want you to stick with me because what I'm about to share directly impacts middle and working class Americans like you and me. What I'm about to say is going to directly impact you. Republicans have been trying for 30 years to shift the tax burden from the top 20% of income earners down to the bottom 80%. They have been trying for a long time to replace the income tax with a flat national sales tax. And every time they try to pass it, they fail because it's a terrible policy. It's regressive and the people know that. They failed until now. Trump is finally the guy to do that. But it's not called a national sales tax. That's a dirty word. We don't say national sales tax. No. Let's call it a tariff. And here is how he is selling it to the same people that are going to pay for it. Us.
All I know is this. We're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. We're going to have jobs. We're going to have open factories. It's going to be great.
Now, before we dive too deep into that, let's take a peek in MAGA land to check the temperature. Unsurprisingly, MAGA loyalists are celebrating, saying that this is going to end the IRS and income tax. We're all going to be rich and money will rain from the sky. Don't you get it yet? We are on the path to no income tax. According to the Tax Policy Center, if a flat tax was implemented, the lower 80% of income earners, their taxes would go up from paying 15.8% of federal income tax to 34.9% of federal retail sales tax, which again, that's exactly what a tariff is. It is a sales tax. Conversely, the top 20% of income earners, their taxes would go down. They would go from paying 84.2% of income taxes to 65.1% of federal retail sales tax. So this tax model of relying on a flat tax, such as a national sales tax or a tariff, is a huge tax break for the wealthy. So unless you're in the top 20% of income earners, replacing the income tax with tariffs, which is a national sales tax for the 10th time, is actually going to increase your taxes. It's going to increase the amount you pay in taxes. And the wealthy, they're going to pay less. It's a tax break, okay? So the other argument I've heard is that taxes are going to be a choice now. They're not going to be forced on you. I mean, sure, technically, that's true. If you don't need essentials like food, clothes, medicine, school supplies. If you don't choose to live, then technically, yes, it is a choice tax. But working and middle class families, they spend a much larger portion of their income on survival essentials because they don't have a lot of money. So a huge portion of their income goes to just survive. And that's what's going to be tariffed. So a disproportionate amount of our income are going to go to tariffs. So unless you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, you are going to pay more under this model. And now I hear this argument a lot. Income tax needs eliminated. It's socialism and destructive, and it incentivizes people to stay poor, keeping down the middle class. It's the exact opposite. Okay. Income tax is how every modern capitalistic country pays for the basics like roads, schools, and Medicare. And it's based on a sliding scale. So the more that you make in this great, awesome country, the more you contribute. That's fair. That is fair. Tariffs are the exact opposite of what that guy just said. They're a national sales tax, which means the less that you make, the more that you are struggling, the more of your income gets taken. Economists on both sides of the aisle have warned about this for years because it pushes the tax burden down onto middle class and working class families, and it prevents social mobility. It's going to make it so much harder for people to climb the financial ladder to make their life better. And the wealthy people, wealthy Americans are barely even going to feel the difference because a $500 tariffed grocery bill hits way different when you're only making $3,000 a month versus $20,000 a month. And this is what Trump meant when he said that only the weak will fail. We are the weak in this situation. If you like this kind of content, look, this is the new face of information warfare right here. And by subscribing to this channel and to people like me, you are helping balance the scales. Because right now, like, we're losing. The bottom 80% of people are losing. You could find me on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, the new one, Skylight Social, CFH Unfiltered. The links are down below. So what do actual experts have to say about this strategy? You know, investors, CEOs, even some Republicans. Well, they're pulling the fire alarm in the building, all right? They're warning us, saying that our economy is about to go up in smoke. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, wrote in his annual letter to shareholders, the recent tariffs will likely increase inflation and are causing many to consider the greater probability of a recession. Larry Fink, CEO of the infamous BlackRock, he echoed the alarm. 62% of Americans now invest in equities. The market impact is hitting Main Street. The turmoil is going to freeze more and more consumption. And Republicans, even they're sounding the alarm. Here's Rand Paul on X. The tariffs Trump just detailed are the biggest protectionist move since the 1930s. And we all know how that ended. The Great Depression. And here's Ted Cruz, good old Ted, on Fox Business.
Tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers.
I gotta make a point here. He's right when he says that tariffs are a tax on the consumer. I have been arguing that. Democrats have been arguing that point. But he is a liar when he says that he does not support increasing taxes on American families. Flat tax, sales tax, and tariffs, they're all the same side of the same regressive tax coin. But Teddy knows that. We're getting conned big time because whose idea was this? Who supports this trade policy? Because it seems that the only people that support this economic policy are Trump, his quack trade advisor, Peter Navarro, and his imaginary friend. Not even kidding. Now, I saw this on Rachel Maddow's show, and I thought, surely this is not true. This is an exaggeration. Here she is explaining how Trump got fascinated with this tariff idea during his first term. Just watch.
Trump gave Jared a summary of his views and then asked him to do some research. Kushner simply went on Amazon, where he was struck by the title of one book, Death by China, co-authored by a man named Peter Navarro. Jared then cold called Navarro, a well-known trade deficit hawk who agreed to join the team as an economic advisor. Navarro was a major advocate for an aggressive pro-tariff policy.
She goes on to discuss how Peter Navarro cites in multiple books an economic expert named Ron Vera. Mr. Vera has also been known to circulate memos around Washington, D.C., supporting tough trade and tariffs on China. Now, Vera, and I quote, made 7 figures in the stock market by investing in companies that do well during international crises. Wow. He sounds like a super genius that we should have construct trade and economic policy for the United States, right?
Problem is, Ron Vera doesn't exist. He never has. The economics expert that Peter Navarro has long cited to explain why he's so gung-ho on tariffs, this person, Ron Vera, is a made-up person. He is a fictional person. Peter Navarro invented Ron Vera as his expert source so he could quote this expert source over and over and over again in his crackpot books. Who is Ron Vera? Ron Vera is an anagram of Navarro, which is his last name. That's where Trump came up with the tariff idea. Circulating a fake memo from a fake person with a fake email address in order to make it look like this was a serious issue being debated by real experts.
This is all true, by the way. I looked into this. I found the original articles. This is the point in our discussion where we all realize that we are all in very serious economic danger. Our current economic policy originates from fan fiction written by a con artist. When Peter Navarro was confronted with the fact that Ron Vera was an imaginary person, his response was, I was just kidding. It's an inside joke. You wouldn't get it. So after everything that we have just walked through, the evidence, the lies, the imaginary characters, the fake economists, the MAGA comments, there's only one question that I have left. Why is Trump even doing this? If every economist, banker, CEO, small business group, and even some Republicans say that this is a terrible idea and it's going to lead to disaster, why push forward with tariffs? Because it's not about the economy. Trump is going to accomplish something that the Republicans have been wanting to do for a very long time. And that is shift the tax burden from the top 20% of income earners down to middle class and working class America. On a personal note, I am so tired of the lies, the disinformation, and the manipulation. I'm fed up with these assholes playing mental mind games with my family's own brains. So I was invited by National Ground Game to go along with 2 very successful debate influencers, Dean Withers and Parker Get a Job, to confront Charlie Kirk in Turning Point USA and debate him in public, face to face. I don't think I'm going to debate him, all right? I'm not a Division I debater, but you know who is? Dean and Parker. Now, Charlie Kirk is backed by some of the richest people on the planet. The same people that want to push that tax burden down to middle and lower class America, right? We're backed by regular Americans. So if you want to back us in our mission, the link is down below. You know, all of this happening in my life is crazy because I'm just a regular dude, right? But I feel like I finally have a second chance to fight for the country that I love very much. Until next time.
New Meidas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more, all at store.MeidasTouch.com.